This is the John Meccico Show on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Now, here is John Meccico.
All right, guys, welcome to Talk Radio 1680 KGED. John Meccico with you for the next hour. We are, as you know by now, if you've been listening at all over the last week or so, we are at the big Fresno Fair. Our booth number, I think, is 312. We're in the Commerce Building, so any of you here from Fresno that want to come in and say hello, shake hands, do some selfies, whatever the case may be, we are here. And enjoying it, enjoying a lot of the sweets and the good food, probably eating a little too much of it. I promised myself I'm not having any of the candy apple stuff today. So, yeah, we're definitely not going to be doing that. A couple things with the fair. So Cal Viva Health is kind of sponsoring it today. They're giving half-price admission. So that means for adults it's $6, and for the kids, I want to say, and seniors, I think it's $4. So if you haven't been to the Fresno Fair yet, join in, and they've got a few things going on which we could talk about later in the show. All right, today was a pretty big day, probably unnoticed to a lot of people, but there was a lot of good stuff happening in Washington today that we definitely need to talk about. So there was a game of one-upsmanship going on between President Trump and Adam Schiff. And the scoreboard is Trump 1, Schiff 0. Not that we would expect it to be anything different. But there was something that occurred today, and I think Trump is making a power move here, although I don't think anybody's really talking about this. But you're going to hear it here. So there's a guy named Gordon Sondland. He's the U.S. ambassador to the European Union. And he was scheduled to appear privately before the House Intelligence and Foreign Affairs and Oversight Committees. And he was doing this not because he was subpoenaed. He was actually just kind of just doing it on his own, trying to maybe help out the situation. By the way, this whole thing is basically an effort for Schiff and the left to kind of determine whether President Trump wanted to withhold military aid to Ukraine by pressuring President Zelensky to investigate the whole Joe Biden and Hunter Biden thing. So we kind of already know all that. Now, Sondland's attorney, Jim McDermott, said, and this is quote, Ambassador Sondland had previously agreed to appear voluntarily today without the need for a subpoena in order to answer the committee's questions on an expedited basis. So Sondland is trying to help them out and speed things up. As the sitting U.S. ambassador to the EU and employee of the State Department, Ambassador Sondland is required to follow the department's direction. Whose direction would that be, you might ask? That would be the White House. That would be President Trump. So here's Sondland, and he flies all the way in here. He's ready to do this committee, and then in the last hour, President Trump just pulls the rug out from everybody and says, nah, he's not going there today. So that's the backdrop. Now, I got to admit, this seemed very strange to me that Schiff would want Sondland to go to the House, considering the text messages that were received last week. Now, these text messages that I'm talking about, they've been mentioned a few times by some of the news networks. I actually first heard about these text messages from Steve from Illinois, who calls our show from time to time, and he always offers us some really great advice. And he happened to email me and or text me and kind of told me about this. And I remember I was working doing something else, and I couldn't wait to get home to read what the heck he was talking about. And then finally when I did, it was like eye-opening. And then later on the next day, I saw that the news networks were starting to talk about this. So what is it that I'm talking about? There's these texts that show a person named Bill Taylor, and Bill Taylor is the top U.S. diplomat to Ukraine. And he's writing to Sondland, and he's saying, I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with a political campaign. Let me repeat that. I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with a political campaign. And obviously he's referring to the allegations regarding the whole Trump-Zelensky call. Clearly he's kind of taking or promoting Schiff's allegation on this, right? His narrative. What was shady about it was that the way that Taylor was framing the question, and he was trying to get Gordon Sondland to agree with the statement. Not so fast. Mr. Sondland, he's a little sharper than that. He came back with his text reply and it said, the president has been crystal clear. No quid pro quo of any kind. The president is trying to evaluate whether Ukraine is truly going to adopt the transparency and reforms that President Zelensky promised during his campaign. I suggest we stop the back and forth by text. Now, this is actually pretty funny. So Sondland at this time, and I want to say that this was probably in July, he doesn't know that any of this is happening. Yet he goes ahead and he says right then and there, there's no quid pro quo, and that the president just simply wants to make sure that President Zelensky is going to follow through on what he said. Now, this could probably be more about CrowdStrike, which we'll get to in a minute, and not necessarily the Hunter Biden thing. But anyway, he doesn't fall into this trap. So the other funny part about it is that he's actually doing Taylor a favor by suggesting that we stop texting. Because who knows what else Taylor would have said. So he probably let off Taylor scot-free on that. But anyway, now, these texts, by the way, were provided by Kurt Volker. Who's Kurt Volker? I know the names get confusing, and you hear all these names and all these places and all these things. Kurt Volker was the guy who was in front. He had that special secret meeting regarding Ukraine with Schiff and all those guys, and it was like a 9-hour closed-door meeting. And he was probably telling them, there's no there. You're barking up the wrong tree. But, far be it for them to listen. Now, I'm very sure that the shifty one, what he was trying to do was get Sondland there and trying to coerce him into somehow agreeing with Bill Taylor's comments, making them true, that narrative of holding back any kind of money simply for waiting to see if this investigation takes place. I'm sure that's what Shifty was trying to do. If he did this, though, he would have had egg on his face once again. President Trump defended the move to block Sondland's testimony, stating that the U.S. diplomat would have been appearing before a kangaroo court. So what's going on there? He's saying, Sondland, I'm not going to let you go there without us also being able to subpoena them. I think where Trump is going with this is that he's saying, if you want to put people to a vote and get real subpoenas and get a real hearing going, do it. He's challenging them. I'll get back to that in a second. Well, basically, yeah. What is really going on here is this, and I'm telling you, this is what's going on. The Teflon Don is a few steps ahead of Schiff. As you already know, Trump has basically dared Pelosi and Schiff to take these accusations to the House for a formal vote. It's something that Pelosi does not want to do. She knows that she doesn't have the votes. And as I have said a few times on my show, if you've ever listened, there has been nothing formal about her quote-unquote formal inquiry. They have talked the talk, but they will not walk the walk. All right? It's Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi have said recently that if there was any effort to obstruct their investigation, such as not allowing a witness to testify, that this will be perceived as obstruction. And they will vote on articles of impeachment based on obstruction. So here they go making this threat last week. Here Sondland comes flying in from the EU, and he's about to go there within an hour. He's going to have this meeting with Schiff and all his people, and President Trump says, you're not going there. What is he doing? He's calling them out on their talk. He's saying what he's saying is he knows that they have nothing. And at the same time, if they move forward, Biden, Clinton, and all the shady characters also have to now be subpoenaed. And the swamp is going to be drained just like he promised, all right? He's saying, bring it on. Take the vote. I'm going to obstruct this so that you take the vote. I dare you to take the vote. Take it. It's a no-win situation for Schiff. If he takes the vote and he doesn't have enough vote, again, there's egg on his face because the House of Representatives don't want to move forward with this. They don't want to have their name attached to it. If they do move forward with it, that means that the president's team is going to have also the ability to subpoena the Bidens and the Clintons and even the Obamas of the world. They're going to go knee-deep in the swamp, and that's going to be his very best chance to drain the swamp. I think this is a brilliant move on Trump's part. All right? It is absolutely brilliant. I mean, can you say checkmate? Because Trump is closing in on these guys. The mainstream media is not going to tell you this. Do not listen to the mainstream media. They are in denial. Just like in November of 2016, they just can't bring themselves to say we're about to take a loss. They can't do it, and they keep doubling down. By the way, that reminds me, one of my favorite videos, if you ever need a laugh, just get on YouTube and just put on Meltdown of Dems during the 2016 election. It's hysterical. But that's getting off topic here. Trump is saying, bring it. I'm tired of the nonsense. Bring it. Bring it, and you're doing me a favor. Now, a lot of presidents would not do this. A lot of legal minds would say, President Trump, there's no reason to put yourself in this situation. But see, he is so confident in the knowledge that he has, and he is so confident of all the shadiness that's going on with all these Dems that he's on to something here. I really believe that he is. When we come back after the break, we're going to continue the story, but from another angle. How involved is Schiff? Because there's a report here that really makes things look extremely shady, and it's getting interesting. It's getting even more interesting. All right, guys, we're at the big Fresno Fair, and come on by. We're in booth 312. We're in the Commerce Building, and we'd love to shake some hands and meet you guys. We've met a few people already, and good times. So we will see you after the break. Yeah, the one thing that they always talk about is not, I always hear like, don't switch topics in the middle of a segment, but I'm going to. Where's those in? I don't know where you are.
How late are you staying tonight?
I do have to finish the Fresno Rescue Mission stuff for tomorrow, so I'm hoping to stay until about 7.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm probably going to head out. Then that'll give me about from 8 to 11 to try to finish up.
Dr. Guillermo show. Are you still on the Thursday and Friday? Are you still going to come here?
Not Friday.
No, Thursday.
Yeah.
Because the rally starts at 4.
Oh, that's true.
So.
Yeah, I'll probably still show up for a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then next week is debate week, so we're here on Monday. We'll do that show together.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday.
Yeah, what time are we doing that then? You come on at 2, so come on at 2.
Come on at 2 and stay, yeah. Tuesday's the actual debate. Wednesday is going to be the recap.
Oh, wait, Tuesday's the debate?
Yeah.
Oh, the 15th, you're right.
Yeah. So,
wait a minute. Today's the 8th, yeah.
Monday, we'll pregame it all together. Tuesday will be the actual debate together. Wednesday, I'm trying to get Diamond and Silk for the post coverage.
Okay.
Thursday's Trump's debate. So
Trump's debate?
Or Trump's rallies, third rally. So 2 this week, 1 next.
He has 2 rallies this week?
Yes, back to back. He's got one Thursday night, Friday night, and then he's got
one on Tuesday.
Huh?
He's got one on Tuesday.
Yep. No, not Tuesday.
Yeah, the 15th.
15th is the debate.
I thought the 15th was a rally.
Nah. We got the schedule somewhere.
So it's wait a minute, it's Thursday. It's this Thursday, the 10th.
Yes, this Thursday.
This Thursday.
And this Friday is a rally. Then Monday we're gonna pregame the debate. Tuesday's the actual debate. Wednesday's
so
recap.
Thursday's a rally.
Yeah.
So I guess I should be here at 2 on Thursday. Are we?
If you want to pregame it like that, yeah.
I'll try to. Yeah. Yeah.
Back to the John Meccico Show on the Valley's new talk leader, Talk Radio 1680 KGED.
All right, guys, welcome back to Talk Radio 1680 KGED. This is John Meccico, spending the next 45 minutes or so with you. We're at the big Fresno Fair. By the way, I don't know if anybody noticed the haberdashery. Let me sit up a little bit here and notice the Talk Radio 1680 KGED shirt that I'm wearing very proudly. Also got my little Devin Nunes thing going on here. So, yeah, dressed appropriately for it. Actually, I think everybody in the booth has been wearing the Devin Nunes shirt. I mean, the Devin Nunes hat. And everybody except Jair's wearing the shirt. So we got to get him wearing that. Anyway, this is a nice shirt, too. Nice and comfy. I like it. All right, so what we were talking about was this game of one-upsmanship between Trump and Schiff, and Trump is definitely taking the lead, and what he's doing is he is daring the Dems to go ahead with the impeachment vote. He said, take it to a vote. Take it to a vote. I dare you, because he feels like he's got them either way. If they take the vote and they don't get enough votes, they've got egg on their face. If they do take the votes, that means that his side, his attorney is going to be able to subpoena all the shady characters that we talk about here, and that would be fun to watch. Absolutely. We already saw the transcripts. They got nothing. They've got absolutely nothing. So we talked about this, and I found it very interesting because Adam Schiff is he's a little more involved than I think a lot of people realize. And if you think about it, it does make sense to investigate this a little bit. Why is Adam Schiff so just darn determined to put a stop to what President Trump is doing? It kind of boggles the mind because, I mean, he's been caught lying. He really should be recusing himself. I mean, absolutely. Yet he continues to kind of play this game. And we're kind of here wondering, like, what's going on? You know, haven't you had enough of a beatdown? But apparently no. And why? You have to ask yourself why. So this is from the Red State. And we see that Adam Schiff, he gets a little shiftier here. So as we all know, Schiff was aware of the complaint from at least August 12th when he supposedly received it from the whistleblower. Yeah, he didn't even let any of his colleagues in Congress know until last week. He didn't let the Dems, maybe he let a couple of Dems know and they kept it a secret. He certainly didn't let any of the Republicans in the House know. So, I mean, that right there he should recuse himself of because he's playing a dirty game. Now, remember him telling George Stephanopoulos, I don't know, however long ago it was, once he found out about the complaint, he demanded answers, and he went public right away. That was a straight up, out and out lie. That was not true. He waited almost a month to say anything. Now, there's a more interesting thing here that we're finding out, and he is, guys, he is really starting to live up to his name, the Shifty One. I mean, he really, really is. So apparently one of Schiff's congressional staffers, a guy named Thomas Eager, he takes a trip to Ukraine between August 24th and August 31st with other congressional staffers after the whistleblower complaint was filed. Now remember, Schiff doesn't go to anybody in Congress until September. And yet he says, I went with this public right away. Yet his people, remember he had the famous tweet on August 28th, and in between there, between August 24th and 31st, one of his guys, Thomas Eager, he takes a trip to Ukraine. I find that pretty coincidental. Now, the trip was paid for by the Atlantic Council. Who is the Atlantic Council? They're a think tank for international affairs funded by the likes of the George Soros Open Society Foundation, and also funded by, wait for it, Burisma, the company that was paying Hunter Biden $83,000 a month for something he knew nothing about. So let's get this straight. The Atlantic Council, funded partly by Burisma and George Soros, basically, sends one of Adam Schiff's guys to Ukraine right after the whistleblower, the supposed whistleblower, comes out with this. And Schiff actually has this tweet on August 28th kind of saying a lot of what the whistleblower's letter was about. Am I the only one that finds this a tad unusual? Because it is. But wait a minute. There's more. One of the senior fellows of the Atlantic Council is CrowdStrike founder Dmitry Alperovich. Guys, I have mentioned CrowdStrike from the beginning. If you read that Trump transcript, he mentions an investigation that he would like, if possible, for the president of Ukraine to do regarding CrowdStrike. The paragraph was about CrowdStrike. It initially was not. It was not about Biden. It was not about Hunter Biden. It was about CrowdStrike. Here this name pops up again. I'm telling you, the key to this whole thing is CrowdStrike. All right. Now, just a reminder, CrowdStrike is the company that supposedly concluded the Russians were behind the hack of the DNC in 2016 during the campaign. The DNC server, a story goes that they've gotten hacked. Instead of the DNC calling the FBI to say, hey, please look into this. That would have been the appropriate thing to do. They take a private company called CrowdStrike. When FBI tries to get in, they go, no, we got this taken care of. Don't worry about it. I've said this many times. Why? Because we don't want the FBI knowing what's in the server. And then we hear from this company paid by the DNC to tell us that the Russians hacked into the server. The Trump campaign must be behind this. That's how we've got this. That's how this mess is all started. Are you serious? But no, nothing to look at here, folks. Nothing to look at here. I'm telling you, CrowdStrike is behind this. They're the key to this whole thing. Let's go to the transcript, just so I can remind you. I would like you to find out what happened with this whole situation with Ukraine. They say CrowdStrike. I guess you have one of your wealthy people, the server. They say Ukraine has it. I wish I could do the Trump. I wish I could do the Trump voice so I could do the impression the way he would say it. I can't, but you get the idea. That's what this whole thing was about. All right. Now, you know the players. You know what we're talking about. In January 2017, the Atlantic Council and Burisma signed a cooperative agreement. Oh, isn't that convenient? Which stated Atlantic Council, again, Atlantic Council, who are they? A think tank for international affairs funded by Soros and Burisma. This would be this Atlantic Council and Burisma signed a cooperative agreement which stated Atlantic Council would develop transatlantic programs with Burisma's support. Wow. They'd be focusing on European and international energy security. What is Burisma? An energy company. Of course Burisma is going to do this. Are you kidding me? They are in cahoots. This reeks. This is, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. So Hunter Biden's old company, Burisma, is funding the group, paying for Schiff's staffer trip to Ukraine. Now, I got some questions. Was anything said or done in relation to the whistleblower's case between Schiff or his staff and the Ukraine? Let's think about this. Do we think that is a possibility? I would think so. I would think absolutely so. Who do they talk to when the staffers were in Ukraine? Who did they talk to when the staffers were in Ukraine? And did any of it relate to the complaint or the Bidens and the Trump situation? Do you think? I absolutely think. I've said it before and I will say it again. This reeks of a political hit job. Trump knows all this and he wants it all exposed, and that's why he's telling the Dems, where's the camera? Bring it. Bring it. I dare you to bring it, because I'm going to expose all this. I'm going to expose all of this. The more we learn about Schiff, the more we uncover why he is working so hard to bring a case against Trump. It makes total sense, guys. It makes total sense. One, to save his own hide. But two, he has he has tremendous pressure from the likes of a Soros, Russian oligarchs, the Clintons, the Obamas, to keep the pressure on Trump. I'm telling you, this just reeks. Schiff happens to be the dummy. He happens to be the middleman trying to stop all this. Schiff needs to recuse himself, and he needs to do it immediately. He won't, but he needs to. Not only that he won't, he can't. There will be no one else to be the buffer between the Clinton, the Soros, Ukraine, Russian machine. No one between them and Donald J. Trump. He is the buffer. He is the guy. There is no one else that's going to be able to do this. Do you think Nadler's going to be able to do this? No. Schiff is involved in this knee deep. It is the only reason for him to continue this embarrassing investigation the way, I mean, he has been caught lying. He has been caught at this point helping the whistleblower. He's involved. He's not a partial person in this case. He can't be the head of intelligence here in this case. He's not partial to this. That's what they need to vote. Should he be in or should he be out? I think somebody actually brought that up today on the. I think I saw that on a newsreel, that they were like, Schiff's got to go, but he can't afford to go. And the left is going to do everything. The Clintons, the Soros, the Bidens, the Obamas, they're going to do everything they can to make sure that he doesn't go, because he's the only one fighting this fight. Because he knows what's going on deep down inside. This reeks. It absolutely reeks. Why else? Why else would anybody put themselves through the embarrassment that he's putting himself through. There has to be a higher reason. There has to be. And I I don't know how much more embarrassing this can get for Adam Schiff. They say he's intelligent. I don't see much of it. He may be intelligent law-wise, common sense-wise, dumb as a stump. Not a clue. Not a clue. So now I guess what's going to happen is they're probably going to subpoena Sondland and start this all over again. I think the president again says, no, you don't go. He's going to force them. He's going to force them to take a vote. And I'm telling you now, Schiff wants no part of that. He may talk a game, but talk the talk, but he's not able to walk the walk. And I bet you, I would not doubt that Pelosi understands all this too. I'm sure she knows everything that Schiff is, the pressure that he's under. I'm sure she knows that this can't go to a vote. And if it does go a vote, she's going to pray to God that it doesn't get voted. She's going to pray not to get the votes, because if they do, the whole, just the house of cards comes tumbling down. That's what happens. That's what's going to happen. She can't afford to let that happen. The Democratic Party will suffer with this for years, if not decades. Honestly. There's a lot of talk about Clinton coming back on the campaign trail. I don't know. I don't think they have a shot with anybody that's there. We got one that's got health problems. We got one that's really slowing down mentally. And we got one that's just a flat-out liar all the time. Lying about the whole teaching situation and everything else. Every time a story comes out, it's another lie. What are their options? If it doesn't look like we can impeach him, and it doesn't look like any of our candidates can beat him, they got to pull something out of a hat. And I'm telling you, if Clinton decides to run, and she's been making a lot of appearances recently, if she does decide to run, wow. I think that Trump is going to just lambaste her with all the political stuff that he knows. He knows that she's shady. He knows. He knows, people. I don't know. You heard it here first. I'm telling you, something big is going to go down. Either something big's going down or nothing's going down. But we will see what happens. Guys, listen to Talk Radio 1680 KGED. When we get back, I want to talk about Minneapolis wanting to charge the Trump campaign $530,000 for rally security. Be back in a minute. I miss talking to my people on Facebook, man. I'm used to talking to them on the break. Yeah, no, I know. I'm just talking to you. No, I was just talking to you. No, I say, during the breaks, usually when I'm in the studio, I can talk to the Facebook people. It's just kind of weird that, I can't do that. Yeah, when are you coming here? Tomorrow? At 8 o'clock? Okay. Man, I had all these other stories. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to them. Darn it. Maybe tomorrow. You'll play what? Oh, are you? I got you. All right. Okay. Hey, by the way, who's this boogie woogie, a boogie with a hoodie? Apparently they say rapper, singer, songwriter. Yeah, but I feel like I feel like I've seen the names before, but that's yeah, right. Jairus, Jairus was very upset about not getting to see Paul Anka yesterday. my way, and now the end is near. So is the final curtain. Yeah, man. All right. All right, guys, welcome back to the John Meccico Show for the third segment. And oh my gosh, what is going on in Minneapolis? Stop it already. The city officials have decided to charge Donald Trump and his campaign $530,000 for rally security if they still want to use the venue that they plan on using this Thursday. Guys, that's actually over 20 times what a normal fee would be for security at a rally. 20 times. They want to charge them 530 large. You've got to be kidding me. So the mayor, this guy Jacob Frey, did he think that this was going to go unnoticed? Did he think that this was going to be viewed as appropriate? What the heck was he thinking? The rally is supposed to be at the Target Center in Minneapolis. For you guys that don't know, the Target Center in Minneapolis, it's where the Minnesota Timberwolves play. It holds 20,000 people. The ticket requests have apparently gone bonkers. They've soared way over 20,000 people. He could probably hold this at US Bank Stadium where the Minnesota Vikings play. That holds 66,000 people, and there would still be people held over. I'm not imagining this. I'm being honest with you. President Trump has said that there have been 72,000 requests for tickets already. I'm telling you that U.S. Bank only holds 66,000. He can't do it at an NFL stadium, obviously, because the logistics of it, between how big the space is, and you just would not be able to have proper security there. So it can't be done. But he could fill football arenas right now, NFL football stadiums right now with the mass of people that want to see him. It is insane. So today is Tuesday and the rally's Thursday. This next 48 hours of this back and forth for the $530,000, this should be interesting. So what is the Trump campaign to do in the next 48 hours before the rally? Well, there's really only one thing to do. You only have legal court recourse. They have to sue. And Trump's campaign has threatened to do just that, to sue AEG, the Auschwitz, I can't pronounce their first name, but it's AEG, the EG stands for Entertainment Group. They got to sue this AEG, the company that manages the arena. Now, of course, you know that the president, he's not going to sit idle on this. He's going to tweet something, and he has to. That's what he does. He says, someone please tell the radical left mayor of Minneapolis that they can't price out free speech. Probably illegal. I stand strongly and proudly with the great police officers and law enforcement of Minneapolis and the great state of Minnesota. See you Thursday night. So this 530 grand, this ain't scaring the Teflon Don. He's showing up. He's showing up. Now I'm going to tell you this, guys. They may bill him 530,000. They ain't getting paid 530,000. That is not going to happen. Nor should it happen. They ain't getting paid. They're not getting paid anytime soon for that. He tweeted earlier that the lightweight mayor is hurting the great police and other wonderful supporters. 72,000 tickets requests already. It's only Tuesday. He says, dump Frey and Omar. We'll get to that in a second if we have time. I pray that we do, because there's a lot on this. Make America great again. Brad Parscale, the campaign genius of President Trump, tweeted, the radical mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, is abusing his power in an attempt to block the president's supporters from seeing him speak on Thursday. We refuse to be bullied by a left-winger resistor and won't let him stifle the speech of Donald Trump or his supporters. All right. Look, in the past, this guy Frey, he's spoken out against the president, calling his actions reprehensible, saying that Trump's messages of hatred will never be welcome in Minneapolis. I'm wondering if Mayor Frey is cognizant of the message that he's sending. Is he serious in not realizing the First Amendment rights of the President of the United States, let alone any citizen? Does he really believe this helps his ability to get reelected again when the time comes? You have a person here in Donald Trump that could sell this arena out 4 times over. And you're pulling something like this on the citizens that you represent? You're a joke. You're an absolute joke. People of Minnesota, the president is right. This joker has to go. And Ilhan Omar, she needs to follow him right out the door, and don't let the door hit her where, you know what. The nation's going to be watching really closely how your upcoming elections go, Minneapolis. If you care about this country just a little, you conservatives, man, you got to rise up and you have got to make your vote count. You have to. A campaign statement also pointed out that when, get this, when then President Barack Obama held a rally at the Target Center in 2009, 10 years ago, police estimated that cost amounted to approximately $20,000. Let me repeat that, $20,000. And you want to charge this president $530,000? That's more than 26 times what you charged the president 10 years ago. Man, look, I know there's some inflation, but darn, 26 times the amount? Even with Mayor Frey's TDS level 10 psychosis, he should be able to see the ridiculousness in this. And you want to know why there's such a great divide in this country? When you treat people like this, there's going to be issues. If not, it's not the president who divides us. It's people like you, Jacob Frey, who divide us. This is absurd. Clearly, people are speaking. They want to see this guy. Nuts. You're nuts. There are obviously many Trump supporters and conservatives in general that want to see the president. That support which he is doing, that support which he is getting for the country. This is a very bad message. This is a very bad message that Mayor Frey is sending his city, and a very bad message that he is sending about himself as a person. He needs to check himself, man. All right, but the story still goes on. Even Mayor Frey's own police department is calling him out for his discrimination against the president. So there's a guy, Lieutenant Bob Kroll, who is president of the Police Officers Federation of Minneapolis. He called out the mayor saying he was trying to antagonize and bully President Trump, hoping to discourage him from coming to Minneapolis. Guys, this is comical in a sense. If it wasn't so true, it actually would be laughable. The ultimate counterpuncher, Donald Trump, is going to be bullied by a mayor who no one knew his name until today? The mayor certainly seems to be trying to do that, but he's way in over his head. He has no he has no business being in the ring with Donald Trump, and he's about to learn it, I guess. Lieutenant Kroll, when talking about the 530, I can't get over that number, $500,000 price tag for rally security, he said it's disparate treatment, not desperate, disparate. All right, they haven't charged nearly that much for other events, and he's right. And we just talked about it a minute ago. Barack Obama, 20,000. Donald Trump, 530,000. You've got to be kidding me. It's just like, what now? I mean, this goes beyond silliness. How did this great divide occur between the Police Officers Federation of Minneapolis and its mayor? Because you got to admit, it's kind of strange. So the story goes like this, and this gets kind of comical. Mayor Frey and Police Chief, a guy named Madaria Arredondo, announced the implementation of a new rule. It's almost like Adam Schiff with the new rule regarding whistleblowers. There's a new rule barring off-duty officers from appearing in a uniform at political rallies or events. Officers will be assigned as security. The new rule quickly drew the ire of members of the Police Officers Federation of Minneapolis, which sees the timing as a direct jab at the president, and they don't like it. This guy, Chief Arredondo, pushed back on the notion that the move was political, saying that the department is not showing favor or bias toward a particular political party or candidate, and that the step has been under consideration for a year. Under consideration, but happened now, right? Under consideration for a year after local constituents protested officers in uniform endorsing local and state politicians. They know that these officers are going to endorse Trump, and they don't want any part of it, so we need to change the rule now, is basically what he's telling us. And who is it? The political party's Democrat. The police officers are facing the Republic, are favoring Donald Trump, and they don't want that. Or Donald said, I don't want the Minneapolis Police Department to be politicized at all. Too late for that, my friend. And maybe he doesn't. But don't be upset if the timing of this doesn't look a little conspicuous. It looks very conspicuous. It looks a little bit shady as well. Now, how did the police union respond to this? All right, listen to this. They created red Cops for Trump shirts for the officers and others to wear, selling online for $20. Buy one. In compliance with policy, we don't want any issues, Kroll said. So we just thought that we'll turn the place into a sea of red, kind of like a college football game, with the shirts we designed, and they're available. We can't keep them on the shelves. They've been selling out as fast as they come in. Kroll pointed out under previous administrations, officers in Minneapolis were ordered to stand behind presidents, calling out local politicians as very left. I can see this now. A sea of red cops for Trump T-shirts. They're either going to be wearing these T-shirts or they're going to be waving them in the air. It's going to be like the Pittsburgh Steelers fans with the terrible towel, the yellow towel that they wave around in their stadium. This could be the start of something big, people. I mean, this really could. Who knows? Steelers fans have been waving these towels for 44 years, and it's still going on. This will drive the dem nuts if there's just a sea of red and people just waving these towels. Oh, my gosh, man. It's going to drive the CNNs of the world nuts. I hope it happens. Guys, pay attention to one thing. This is Ilhan Omar's territory. Don't think that this is just another campaign rally. It's not. This is a 2-for-1 deal right here. October 10th. To get reelected, that's the first step. But second, to get Omar out of there. He wants to make sure that Minnesota hears him loud and clear regarding how Omar is not serving for the best interests of the country. I'm telling you now, on Friday, the news is going to be, it's all going to be about poor Ilhan Omar. She got picked on and she got bullied by President Trump. She brought it on herself. She brought it on herself. That's the bottom line. This is not Trump. This is her. She brought it on herself. And then we're going to see the three musketeers, AOC and the other two, Pressy and Tlaib, and they're going to be coming to her side, and they're going to be consoling her, and it's going to be, it's all going to be about President Trump bullying her. Guys, this is much more than that. He wants to make a statement. He wants her out of there. Her polling numbers are very low anyways. Her favorability polls stink. Minnesota, you got to get out there and vote. You got to do the right thing. Got to get this woman out of there. Thursday's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Pay attention to it. All right, guys, we're at the Big Fresno Fair, and you listen to Talk Radio 1680 KGD. I'm sporting my shirt, if anybody hasn't seen it yet. All right, looking all good there, right? All right, and we will come back in the next segment and finish it up, and Guillermo Moreno just walked in, so he'll be on in about 20 minutes or so. Talk to you in a minute. Hey, Jairus. You want to come on? Hey, Woody, how much time we got, buddy? Can't get him on. All right, sounds good. Cool. Put my phone right there. You want to, anything, any food stuff in particular, or anything there in particular?
Did that not go out on the air yesterday? The thing about the girls?
I have no idea.
What did that? Remember about like how it hurts more when they're puberty?
Hey, Woody. I can't get Woody on the line.
Just get
I don't know if it went on or not. Hey, Woody. Woody. Hello. I think I'm the one on the left. I'm that one. Hey, Woody.
Hello? Hello, hello, hello.
Woody.
Hello, hello, hello. There we go.
Woody.
There.
Woody. Hey, when we were talking about girls breaking Jairus's heart because they vote Democrat, did we get that on the air or was that like afterwards? You don't remember hearing that? No, no, no. We were talking about at the end of the show, but we were running
We'll
it.
go with it. I think, yeah, we'll be good.
Okay, so you didn't hear that? Okay, so we may go with that. Okay. 30 seconds. All right. I don't. I may bring up Warren or Elon or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As the hood job turns.
All right.
Back to John Meccico on Talk Radio 1680 KGED.
All right, guys, we are back on Talk Radio 1680 KGED, and as I have had all week, I've had Jairus Jackson join me for the last segment, although he's not on camera, but that's all right. Well, you can hear him. All right, so we're at the Big Fresno Fair. Cal Viva is sponsoring this so that the seniors, not the seniors, actually the adults are getting half price, so it's for $6, and then the seniors and the military people get it for $4.
Yeah, great cause.
Yeah, so very good cause. So good for them. We're not eating as much of the pastries and stuff as we have in the past. I think we're trying to refrain.
We're trying to keep our feet.
Yeah, try not to let our feet swell.
Get them cut off so we don't want that.
We don't need any diabetic neuropathy or diabetic issues here. Absolutely. So were you brokenhearted about the Elon Omar situation?
Is this another installment of As the Hood Job Turns?
Oh man, you're gonna kill me.
That's what this is.
All right. So is it, you know?
No, why would I be brokenhearted about this?
So this is divorce number 2 that we know of, right?
Yes.
And
For a non-attractive woman, she's been through a lot of divorces. In fact, it's usually the way it is.
She's a woman of power. You know, apparently.
Yes.
So then that means that the Mr. Manette, or was that his name?
Yeah.
Yes, Manette. So I guess he's in line as husband number 3, possibly.
Most likely.
Yeah, and so the wife, who's 17 years older than Mr. Manette, she's not looking as crazy as the media was trying to make her out to be.
No.
And the funny thing about this was that Elon was asking her husband back in August, listen, please tell everybody that everything's okay between us. And now here we are at the beginning of October, and she's filed for divorce.
Well, like we said during my show, if a couple has to get together and tell each other, let's tell everyone everything's okay, everything probably isn't okay.
Yeah, but this really, I don't know, man. She's a mess. She's a mess in so many ways. Now, then she's got her kids involved, and I think he's got a child involved, and this could get very ugly. So I
hope it does.
You just mean. I hope it's not for the kids, man.
No. But
and
for
I know
the adults, I hope it's very ugly.
And Elizabeth Warren, do you catch anything?
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
So Elizabeth Warren, I guess, was caught on tape, basically contradicting what she's been saying.
Well, she said she got fired when she was pregnant.
Right.
But that does not appear to be what happened. Surprise, surprise.
Well, apparently the minutes on April 21st, 1971 at Riverdale Board of Education meeting says that they did extend her a second-year contract and that they were very disappointed 2 months later on June 16th when she resigned and they had to regretfully accept her resignation.
Yeah.
What is wrong with her? We have one person with heart issues. We got one person that's looking like these.
Here's the thing. I'm just calling her stents-free Elizabeth Warren.
Stents-free Elizabeth
Warren. Because that's about her only redeeming trait is that she doesn't have stents. Stents-free Warren.
This is really sad, man. I mean, can anybody just tell the truth?
No, John. It's 2019, and this is American politics.
But this is like she is trying so hard to paint a picture that all the women voters are going to be like, oh, Elizabeth, and we got to vote for her. And almost like a sympathy play.
Well,
and guys are looking at it like, you
Yeah,
know,
Hillary Clinton tried that same "I'm a woman, you're a woman, so vote for me" thing, and it didn't end too well for her.
she didn't.
Now she's mulling running again, which I think would be hilarious.
She didn't learn the first time. All right. We found out. We believe that the conversation that we had at the end of yesterday's talk was you were disgruntled a little bit. You said that
I don't know if I'd say disgruntled.
no, but
John,
it kind of hurt you in the heart a little bit that when you would see an attractive woman,
Yeah.
and then see that in our straw poll that they were voting Democratic, and
Yeah.
you were like, I seem to take a little more
it
personal.
would hurt me.
That it hurts you.
Yeah. And I was just pontificating to anyone who would really listen.
which happened to be only me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're the only one. I was wondering why that was, because it kind of made no sense to me.
Yeah, and what I told you was that this happens because when we see an attractive woman, we start wondering right away, oh, should I go talk to her? Do I have a shot?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the minute you see that she votes that way, you realize that you have nothing in common. So how your mind went a million miles an hour with a possibility of something. It
Yeah.
just got shot down like right then and there, and it hurts.
So that's where the depression.
That's where the depression comes in, yeah.
I got you.
Because you said that if there was a woman that's not as attractive to you and she votes that way, like you could care less, right?
Oh yeah, our
Because
example was if you've got a chick that hasn't seen the sun in 1,000 years, and she's a swell 355, and she votes for Bernie, I feel nothing at all.
We didn't have to dramatize it like that, man.
This is serious stuff, Johnny. No drama here. If they vote for Bernie, I don't care. But if it's some fine senorita, it hurts. I had a problem for some reason.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem is that you realize, you know what, this is going to be very difficult to try to strike a conversation, see if there's any play here. That's what you're going through.
And that's what's going through my mind.
That's the depression that you have, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do I send the bill? Where do I send the bill?
Just look, cash. Just a cash,
right,
man.
all
I don't
right.
do bill.
You're an old school mafia psych. I see
don't,
there.
we don't do checks.
You don't do checks.
We don't do
All
checks.
right, there you go.
No, we can't follow the money trail. It's got to be cash only. All right. Slip it to me in small bills.
Oh man.
All right. And our last thing was Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen.
So as some of you know,
Hi, I'm Ellen.
yeah, I mean, you know what? You got to kind of favor what she did, right? So she was caught. We'll call it caught. She was at the Dallas Cowboy game watching Aaron Rodgers slice and
Don't
dice
say
up the
caught because that's just
I know,
buying into
but that's the
what
way
liberals
they
are
make it sound.
Yeah, they're making it sound like it was like To Catch a Predator, Chris Hansen. We
Yeah,
caught you.
right.
Why don't
So
you have a seat for a second?
I know. So she's over there talking. She's happens to be seated next to President Bush, former President Bush, and she's sitting in one of the deluxe suites at I think it's the AT&T Stadium.
Invited by Jerry Jones' daughter.
Invited by Jerry Jones' daughter, and all of a sudden, Twitter mob went crazy. Like
Liberal Twitter mob.
Yes. What are you doing sitting next to him?
That conservative Republican.
Yeah.
I don't really know if he's those things.
And her response was spot on. She said, here's the thing. I'm friends with George Bush. In fact, I'm friends with a lot of people who don't share the same beliefs that I have. We're all different, and I think we've forgotten that that's okay, that we're all different. But just because I don't agree with someone on everything doesn't mean that I'm not going to be friends with them. When I say be kind to one another, I don't mean only the people that think the same way you do. I mean be kind to everyone. Doesn't matter. She really couldn't have said it any more than that. She stuck up.
And who could disagree with that?
You can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, man. I mean, good for her. Good for her for standing up for herself and not putting up with the nonsense. We need to embrace our differences. We shouldn't have them pull us apart. Okay, it doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity, your politics, your sport teams, whatever. We can't keep finding reasons to be divided. We got to find reasons to embrace each other's differences. And until we get to that point, the same old is going to happen, and the nonsense has to stop. And you know what? My experience has been it's a lot more on the left than the right. And
Couldn't
I'm just
agree
being
with you
honest.
more, Johnny boy.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining, man. I appreciate you coming in as always. Thank you, my friend.
We're a bunch of scrubs. We got to get the hell out of here because the Elita's coming.
The Elite is coming. Guillermo Moreno sitting by, waiting to come on in. Look at him, boys. Working hard here. All right, guys. Guillermo Moreno will be with you after the break. Stay tuned. What? Pressed up with the
Yeah,
I wish I could wear contacts. But I can't. Oh, good, you're wearing the shirt.
Yeah, man.
Shirts are nice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them. You all right?
Yeah, we're to rock and roll. All right, Woody, can you hear me?